Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John, and today we have a little bit of a different project. We are going to be doing a mask from an anime that I have tried to watch all of and gave up on after about 130 episodes. But I have a friend that really wanted this, so I figured I'd do it for him. Yeah, I've done this mask before, actually. I just didn't actually film the process of it, so we're going to go through the whole build on this one. It is the Madara or Obito or Madara, I don't know, one of those masks from Naruto. It's the one with the 3 holes. You'll see it. We're gonna hop into the slicer. So here we are in Orca Slicer, and this is the mask I was talking about. This file is from Nico Industries. I believe I got it from his membership. And I like this one a lot because it has this kind of like hand textured, like hand carved wood texture to it, which I think is really cool. I've seen a lot of these masks online when I was kind of looking at how to paint the first one that I made. And a lot of them are just very flat, like there's no texture to them at all, which I thought was boring. I don't know. I thought this was cooler. It may not be as, I don't know, screen accurate, but I think it looks better. So pretty simple mask to print, just kind of orient it so that the bottom and the bottom were printed there. I had to turn it 45 degrees. This is at max height for a Bamboo Lab as well, or for a P1P anyway, as well. So it is a little bit of an issue getting it over the head. I have a 23.5-inch head. It's not gonna fit, so I'll walk through it. But on the first one I made, I had to kind of cut some of this off back here to make this fit. You can do that in the slicer if you want, or in something like mesh mixer if you want. I just took a soldering iron to it. It was very, very easy. I'll walk us through that process once we get there. But quality settings here are, I printed this in a standard 0.2mm height. Strength, I used a 6% gyroid in full, in support, tree, auto. I didn't even put on build plate only because there's only certain areas that need to be supported here. If you look at the painting, you don't need supports on the dome side, so I went ahead and painted most of that out of there. I probably could have done a better job on that. If you look at the preview, we still do have like this weird branch that pops up there. I just kind of left it. It doesn't add too much print time, not really a big deal. You are looking at about a 400 gram print and a 16-hour print time on a P1P though. And when it comes off the printer, it should look something like this. I haven't done the support removal yet, but this print is pretty thick in terms of like the, I don't know, the edge thickness here. So that's where a lot of that goes. So it could be a little bit thinner. It would be nice, I think, if it was a little bit thinner, but it's not too bad. This just will not go on a head normally until we cut some of this backside off, but we'll get into that all in the garage. And it is a nice textured helmet as well, so you're not going to need a whole bunch of post-processing on this, which is awesome. So we just do a little bit of sanding, some filler, and then it's pretty much ready to paint. Unfortunately, a lot of this does have to be hand painted because there's supposed to be little black circles that go all the way around this. Any Naruto fans out there will know that. But the base helmet itself is pretty much all white, and then just you have to go back through and paint those little black circles, hit it with a finish, and that's pretty much it. So a pretty simple build. But we'll go through the whole thing. I'll see you guys in the garage.
Well, before we get out to the garage, I do want to show you guys one more thing here, and that is today's sponsor, PCBWay. If you guys don't have a 3D printer or you need CNC machining or vacuum folding, anything like that, go to PCBWay.com. You can upload your files there. They will print it out, vacuum format, do whatever you want them to do with it, really, and send it right out to you. They also offer lots of different finishes for their 3D printing services, which are awesome, like electroplating, which you don't know what that is. They coat it in a thin layer of metal for you. So maybe for your next Iron Man mask or Thor's hammer, perhaps, get that bad boy printed by PCBWay, get it electroplated, and you're gonna have that really nice metallic look. So thanks again, PCBWay. I'll see you guys in the garage. I took all the supports off of the Obito mask, and it is pretty much ready to go. The nice thing, like I mentioned, this is a textured mask, so it's not gonna really require very much work at all. However, the way that it is scaled and designed makes it pretty much impossible to get on your head. So what we have to do first is go along this back area, and I'm just gonna cut some of this off of here to make this actually a wearable mask. So what I'm gonna do with that is, you could probably do this with like a saw, if you have like a little fine tooth saw. I'm just gonna use a soldering iron, and I'm just gonna melt away some of this. I am gonna try to follow some of the grains here, some of these little lines in the grain, so that it's not going to really affect the aesthetic of the mask and look like it was lopped off. It'll look like it's part of the mask. We'll probably have to do a little bit of Bondo on that bottom layer once it comes off, just to fill it in so you don't see that exposed infill. But I'm going to cut that off with a soldering iron. And then there is a little bit of sanding that needs to be done. I guess not really needs to be done, but I'm going to do. which is just gonna be right up here to get some of those kind of dome finishing lines right above this little third eye thing. I'm just gonna knock that down with a 120 grit sandpaper real quick, cut this off, and then it's pretty much ready to prime and sand that down and then paint. It's a very, very simple project here. And when doing this cutting, you are melting plastic if you're using a soldering iron. So wear a mask. You don't want to be inhaling that, or do it somewhere that's well ventilated with a fan on you maybe. All right, we knocked off that little bit there. You can see the bottom edge is a little rough, so we will have to kind of probably hit this with a file or rasp and just smooth that out a little bit. We'll do a little bit of filler in there with the Bondo or wood filler, whichever you prefer. But you can see now that it slides on perfectly, and it's a great fit. It still holds. This helmet is basically at max scale for a P1P size bed plate, and you still have to make that little modification. But once you do, it fits like a glove, and it's perfect. So I'm going to clean this up, and we're going to hit it with primer. Before I put the primer coat on this, I wanted to show you guys what I did. I put Bondo spot putty on the inside rim there to help smooth that out. That'll get sanded down a little bit before the primer, and then the primer will go on. And then I did sand this little area right here where the dome kind of finished up printing with the 120 grit sandpaper. And this is all I took off the back there to make it fit. So about about an inch at its thickest part. And it still looks pretty good from the side profile and everything. And once it's all done, it's going to look great. So I'll let this dry on the back here, sand that down just a little bit, hit it with that filler primer. We'll probably do a small quick sand off of that, and then it's ready for paint. So I did go ahead and paint the helmet already. It's just a gloss white. It's just a Rust-Oleum gloss white. But after I hit it with the primer, it was looking really good. Not a whole lot of work to do, like I kind of mentioned a couple times before. So I just hit it with the primer, put that on really, really thick, and then I went over it with a 220 sandpaper just to knock down any areas of that primer that may have pooled or globbed up or anything like that. And so we got this nice finish. We'll see if that focuses a little bit on it. You're still going to be able to see a little bit of the layer lines on there, but as we get through there and we do a little bit of weathering on this towards the end, it's going to make it look a lot better. So right now we're ready to move on to the hand painting part, which if you don't know what this helmet is, it's supposed to have black. So like this will be black here. All these little rings, these little bullseye targets are going to be black, and there's really no other way to do that other than hand paint. So I'm just going to use an acrylic black paint and just a brush and just go after it. And then that would generally be where I would leave most of this done. Probably do a black wash on there as well, just to give it a little bit of wear. But after that, that would be pretty much where I would call this done. However, I was asked to see if I could do something neat with the eyes. So I'm going to be using the same kind of mesh fan PC covers that I used for like my Deadpool and Wolverine masks. And you wanted to see if there was something that I could do with them to make them look like the eyes in the show that are like the, I don't know, the red and like the white one, I think, that has like, I don't know, like commas or like looks like little tadpoles in it. You know, if you watch Naruto, you probably know what it means or what they are. I don't remember what they're called. But I'm going to see if I can knock that out and then put those in here too. But we'll get to that after we hand paint everything on here. So we'll get started on that. All right, hand painting part is done. You can see obviously it's filled in with black now. I went over a couple times just to make sure those are nice thick bold lines. I'm going to let this dry before I do a black wash. I'm going to do a real light black wash over pretty much everything. I don't want it to fill in every single little groove, but I do want to fill in some of those grooves. So we'll be wiping a lot of it off just to give it a little more depth so it doesn't just look so flat. It really kind of bring out this nice like hand carved wooden texture that this print has. So while that's drying though, before we do that, I'm going to get started on the eyes. This is the mesh that I was talking about. Has really, really good visibility. It's just a PC like dust filter for your computer. And so what I'm going to do is put that inside the mask. And I'm going to measure, or not really measure, but I'm going to draw a bigger circle than what that encompasses from the inside of the mask. And then, I don't even know if I can get that. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that. But just draw a big circle, cut that out, and then I'm going to pull up some reference photos and try to hand paint with acrylic onto this. And I'm thinking that it won't fill in all the little holes in this that you probably can't really see very well. If it does, I could get like a toothpick or a staple or a paper clip or something and poke the paint out of those holes and bring visibility back. while still having that picture that I painted look pretty good on here. So I've never tried this before. I was asked to see if it's possible. I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. All right, quick change on the plan for the eyes. Instead of painting them on, I have these acrylic pins that I forgot about. I've had these forever and I almost never use them, but I think they'll be really good for this. So I cut out the eye holes here. I know they're not perfectly circled, but they'll go on the inside and there's plenty of room to glue them down. And I'm just going to draw on them. But right now I want to do really good circles on this. So right now I'm actually printing out a circular stencil that has a bunch of different shapes so I can get very accurate circles, and we're just going to draw them on with a black line and then color it in and draw those little comma things in there. And I know the one eye I think is like a lightish purple. I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to wash this out a little bit so it's not such like a colorful purple if it does go on too much. But that's the plan for now. The acrylic is dry, so I'm going to go ahead and black wash this thing. But that's the plan for the eyes. I just got to wait for that stencil to be done. Okay. So for black washing, all you're going to do is add your black acrylic paint. This is what I use. Use whatever you want. Into a cup of water. The more paint and less water you have, the thicker it is, obviously. The more water, less paint, the thinner it is. And you have to leave it on a little bit longer. If you don't know where to start, what kind of mix to use, I would err on the side of caution. Use less paint, more water. You can put it on there, let it sit for 30 seconds. Wipe it off. If it's not dark enough, you can do another layer, and you can just kind of layer it that way. And then you get different layers of grit and stuff too. Looks pretty nice. This is just going to go on with a paintbrush. You're just going to kind of splash it everywhere and then wipe it off with a paper towel when you feel like it's dried enough or you want to add another layer. Okay, the black wash is done. And again, not trying to darken the helmet too much or add too much grease and grime to it. Just trying to add enough so that the black liquid kind of soaks into some of this texture and just kind of brings it to life a little bit more. Just, you know, kind of enhances some of the texture that's already in the print. And I think pretty good. It only takes about 5-10 minutes to do this. Not real complicated. I'm going to cover this in a satin clear coat. He wanted it a little bit shiny. But we don't want it to be too shiny because then those layer lines are really going to kind of pop, the ones that are still there. Unfortunately, the texture doesn't hide all of them. So if we dock this down with a little bit of a satin, it'll give it a nice kind of sheen to it while still kind of minimizing a lot of the light reflecting off of those layer lines. But this, for all intents and purposes, is done. I just got to add the eyes, and hopefully those come out good. But we'll see. All right, the stencil is done here. Lots of different circles to choose from. I'll link this file down below in case you guys need it for something as well. But I'm just going to kind of measure out the outer eye and then probably do one a little smaller for like the inner eye. And then kind of have to hand draw the little things that look like commas on it. And luckily the one eye is basically just a bunch of different circles of different sizes. So that one should be fairly easy. But the one that's like the red and black, yeah, who knows? It might work out. It might work out awesome. But I'm going to put these down with the pins like I discussed earlier. And I'm probably going to throw a quick spray of like a satin clear coat on top of that. And hopefully the visibility stays awesome and it looks pretty cool. But I guess we'll find out soon. Okay, I think that's good. That one kind of came out like this, and then this one kind of came out like that. I know that they're not perfect, but I think once we put them in the mask, they're going to work well. And the visibility is basically like they haven't been painted on at all. So I'm just going to hit these with a quick clear coat so this doesn't smudge if somebody touches it, and then glue them into the mask and show you guys the final result. All right, and the whole mask is done, guys. I think these eyes came out really good, man. I wasn't sure that they were going to. When he asked if I could do it, I was like, I mean, I can try. I don't know how it's going to look, but it fits on really well. and there's still plenty of visibility through it. Sorry, probably a little muffled now. Plenty of visibility through these guys, which I didn't expect. So kind of an up close for you on how those turned out. Pretty happy with them. Are they absolutely perfect? Like most of my projects, no, they're not totally perfect, but they're pretty good. If I had a little bit finer tip, I think acrylic markers, I could have made them probably a little bit better, but all in all, I think it came out really good. The black wash looks nice. I don't know what to do with this little guy. Where is it? This little guy here. I don't know if that's supposed to be blacked out or whited out or something. You can fill it in if you needs to, but I'm just gonna leave it open. Looks pretty good. I think the black wash came out nice. The eyes came out good. It fits well. It's nice and lightweight. You could add a little foam on top if you wanted a little cushioning to wear this, but this is gonna look good on a wall and it's wearable as well. So that is all done for the OBITO mask, MADARA mask, one of those, whatever this one is, it's done. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next one.